Hey guys, what's going on? Kevin Yates here from yatesperformancetraining.net. So I wanted to, I'm going to do a quick kind of video series here. And what I wanted to talk to you and share some information with you about is how to get rid of your trouble spots. This is something that so many people I see struggling with. The common trouble spots, the stomach, of course, who doesn't have problems there, right? The upper arms, the hips, butt, thighs, these key areas. Because one of the biggest mistakes I keep seeing people make, and maybe you've gone through this before, is that they get on these kind of these weight loss roller coasters. The mindset is that I have to lose weight in order to tone up. And so, they're going through all these diets. If you've been on, low fat, low calorie, low carb type diets, starvation type diets, afraid to eat anything, working out all the time, doing a lot of cardio, running, Zumba classes, all these different kinds of, workouts and working out like every other day or running 5 miles a day. I mean, these are the types of things that are actually creating more of the problem because we keep getting brainwashed into thinking that the answer to tightening our bodies up and toning up is to burn more calories, lose weight. That's all the focus is on the number of the scale. But the big problem, and I'm going to show you why this is a big problem, that nobody's talking about what's going on behind the scenes. So if you've ever, gone on one of these kind of weight loss roller coaster things where you've lost some weight, you'll know what I'm talking about because you lose some weight, you look a little smaller, but then when you're looking in the mirror, you keep seeing the same trouble spots that you had before. You're a little bit smaller, but you really look like the same version that you did when you were bigger, right? The trouble spots never go away. And it seems like the harder you try, the more stricter you diet, the more you work out, the more everything starts working against you. You have a harder time getting your body where you want to go. And the reason why this happens is because it's not a weight loss issue. It's more of an issue of understanding why you're carrying the weight where you carry it. Because where you carry your weight on your body, that will tell you everything about the approach that you need. And I'm telling you, it's not just a calories in, calories out approach. It's not just, I got to do exercise and eat less. It will not work that way. And I'll show you why. So today I'm going to talk specifically about the most common area that we all struggle with, the stomach. How do we get our stomach? How do we tighten it up, tone it up, flatten your abs, get to see the muscle under there, get more definition. Whatever you're looking to do there, I'm going to talk to you about what the real culprit is here. So what we're looking at is it's not a calorie issue. So we have to, just for the minute here, stop with the calorie thinking. Let's put that all aside and let's start to think about this in a different way. If you view calories like cars on the road, so you got cars that are driving on the road, and then you come to like an intersection and you've got the policeman out there who's directing traffic, like when the stoplights don't work. So you've got the policeman that tells some cars to go, he's telling the other ones which way to go, other ones to stop. That's what the hormones do. So calories are kind of like the cars on the freeway. They're just going all over the place, but they really don't know where to go or what to do. It's the hormones in your body that are like the policemen. They direct the calories where to go, and they tell them what to do in your body. So your body is either set up to burn fat or store fat. It's set up to build muscle or to burn muscle. And it doesn't matter if your body is set up to store fat. It doesn't matter how many calories you're cutting from your diet. If your body is programmed, your hormones are switched on to storing body fat, that's what you're going to be doing regardless. And that's why a lot of this stuff doesn't work. So there's a few key things that we've got to zero in on. Two of them are actually, one is really, if we talk about hormones, there's two hormones in there. So cortisol and insulin. We want to really, really understand that the reason why you store fat around the stomach area is because you've got at least an imbalance in at least one of them. Oftentimes, though, both of them are imbalanced. So cortisol is like the response to a lot of stress. Now, stress isn't just, your boss at work who pisses you off all the time, right? Stress can happen in a lot of different ways. It can happen after you have an argument with your spouse. It can happen because you don't have enough money to pay the bills for the month and you're really struggling to figure out how to make more money. It can be being unhappy. It could be certain foods that you eat that cause stress in the body. It could be your workouts that cause stress in the body. There's all different kinds of stress, environmental type stress, mental and emotional stress. All of these things add up. And when you have too much stress coming in, your cortisol levels get elevated. And when you have a lot of, or chronically elevated cortisol, it will program your body to store fat, particularly around your stomach. So again, you can see that if cortisol is up, it doesn't matter how many calories you're cutting from your diet or how much you're working out, your body's programmed to store fat rather than burn it. And that's the problem you're going to have. You might lose a little weight, but you're never going to look the way you want. Again, the trouble spots. So what we've got to do is get really particular about how to control stress. There's some other things in there with diet, with workout, and I'm going to talk about those in a second. But really getting cortisol under control. Now, the other one I talked about was insulin. So insulin basically is just straight, fat storage. It's programmed to store nutrients in your body, but it will store fat. So again, it's like cortisol. If your insulin levels are up because your diet's bad, then you're just going to be storing a lot of fat rather than burning it. And it doesn't matter how many days of the week you're working out or what you're doing. That's what's going to happen here. So this is the key thing. We want to control these hormones in order to burn fat. We've got to get the hormones switched on to fat burning rather than fat storing. So how do we do it now? Well, there's three key things that we want to kind of zero in on. One is diet, right? So obviously, and this is no secret, right, is that you've got to be eating the right foods for your body. Now, again, though, I want to speak about this a little different because if your approach to diet has been, well, I've got to eat less fat, I've got to eat, low carbs or eat fewer calories, you're going to be taking that approach down that slippery slope that's going to end up getting you stuck and frustrated and your body's not going to really change. The diet approach is not about the quantity of what you eat. It's about the quality. So the quality's got to be there. And it's a little bit different because there's, all the experts out there will take their kind of stance on which diet is best. Do we need low carb? Do we need something like paleo? Do we need low fat? Do we need low calorie? What's what? Now, there's all kinds of different diet strategies that do work because a lot of people get results on different approaches. However, the one problem is that there's no real one-size-fits-all that works for everybody every time. So a lot of times what works early for us will not work later on. What works to get the first 10 pounds off or to get your body at a certain place will not work to get the next 10 pounds off or to get your body to the next level. There's a constant flux that needs to happen, and you have to be in tune to when to make those changes and what those changes are. It's not just a low-carb diet. If you've been on low-carb diets, they will run their course, and if you stay on low-carb diets long-term, it will actually sabotage those efforts to get your tummy tighter. You will have a problem getting it where you want to go. Again, it will run its course, and it will start to mess hormones up in your body after a period of time. So again, you've got to be in tune to what approach you need and when it needs to change. So that's the first thing. But remember, the quality of food. Stick to, the cleanest quality foods most of the time as often as you can. That's the key number one. Number two, now we're looking at workouts. So obviously, everybody knows they got to work out if they want to lose fat, get their stomach tighter, all of that. But everybody kind of talks about working out like it's all the same. Oh, just do some exercise. Well, it doesn't work that way. The type of exercise you do, the intensity at which you exercise, it all matters, right? The exercises that you do, it all matters. And what workout you do now isn't going to be the same workout that's going to work for you down the road. So things have to change. There's got to be a strategy in what you do. Now, we'll say this. If you're somebody who has done a lot of cardio type work, because a lot of times what we start thinking is that I got to lose fat, so I got to do more cardio. And again, that's the thought process that gets so many people in trouble. If you're doing a lot of cardio and you're not seeing the results, that's exactly why. So cardio, what it does is it elevates your stress hormones in your body. When you do too much cardio, you have too many stress hormones, which produce cortisol. And so over time, what happens is you get stubborn fat, particularly around your stomach, that won't go away. So instead, if we looked at something like lifting weights, resistance training, that would be a much better option. Now, I'm not saying don't ever do cardio. I'm just saying that the resistance training will actually stimulate your fat-burning hormones to a greater degree. Now, again, though, you've got to be strategic about things. I don't have time in this few-minute video that's already going long to explain, every single thing that you got to look for. So I will say this, though. Your resistance training has to be with a good amount of intensity, but it's got to be balanced as well. So you can't just go hard and heavy and high intensity like every day of the week. You have to know when you need that, and you have to know when you need something a little bit less. There's a balance that has to happen. You get the results. Your body will get leaner during the times that you recover, but you're using the workouts to stimulate it, to kickstart the hormones, to get that whole fat burning process started. So that's what you want to be looking at your workouts to do. And again, resistance training will give you a much bigger bang for your buck, but there's got to be a good strategy behind how you balance and how you work things out, okay? But just remember that. So diet, workout, and then the other one we've got is recovery. And again, you know, this is something I just kind of hit on, but if you're not getting the recovery that you need, your body doesn't have time to or have the chance to lean down and give you the results that you're looking for, because it's always trying to recover and repair itself from what you did before. And what happens is if you don't get enough recovery over time, your body just starts breaking down. It breaks down really fast, so you might get things like aches and pains, lower back, knees, shoulder, neck problems, things like that. You might lose some weight, but you'll look really like kind of skinnier, but you still have the same trouble spots as before. They don't go away. And it will make it harder because, again, when you shortchange recovery for too long, then cortisol levels get elevated. And again, the whole process of being stuck starts to happen. These are some of the key mistakes that a lot of people make. And if you're making one or more of these, you know, the more you make, the harder it's going to be. So keep that in mind. You've got diet, you've got workout, and you've got recovery. 3 key things that if you have the right balance there, you learn to manage those things and structure them properly. That's what's going to help you. That's really all you really need to help get your trouble spots managed, particularly when we're looking at the stomach, okay? So again, it's not the calories, it's not, you know, just eat less, move more. It's really balancing things, giving your body a chance from a hormonal standpoint to balance itself out and switch itself into a fat-burning kind of state rather than a fat-storing state. That is the big thing. So remember that, you guys. So I'm going to be back next time, and I'll talk about some of the other trouble spots. In the meantime, if this is something that you're interested in learning more about, then sign up down below. Just enter your information in the box, and you'll get more information. I'll be sending you more about how to get rid of the trouble spots. In the meantime, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be talking to you soon.